Get used to seeing this same trailer for the next 7 years across every Nintendo YouTuber. Cause holy Toledo! We're finally entering a point in time where we don't have to imagine the Switch 2 anymore. We're past that final stage. We finally got a reveal of the next Nintendo console. The Nintendo Switch 2. So of course, being the guy who inconsistently uploads for months, basically locking into fitness, trying to with work and money, it's time to lock back in with YouTube instead. And given it's a new era, a new verve, an atmosphere amongst the Nintendo sphere that's dawning upon us with this announcement, it's gonna be insanely fun. But let me talk about my thoughts on the Switch 2. And it really does just feel super surreal. Just out of nowhere, no warning, no prep time, Nintendo legit just shadow dropped the trailer for their next console. And the way they showed it off, the nature of the trailer, the reveal, like I think a lot of people were kind of expecting a similar reveal that the current Switch got, the Switch 1. Just like a very casual, light showing with all these people of what the console's capable of, how applicable it is. We got several light teasers for a lot of games coming to the thing, and it was a very saucy reveal, especially for Nintendo immediately off the heels of the Wii U and how miserable it performed. This time though, they just shadow dropped the trailer this morning. They just gave us a CG visual of the console itself, one game teased in the second half, multiple other small tidbits sprinkled in the second half as well. A lot of people have been saying this, but this reveal feels insanely like giving in energy, because in case you've been living under a rock for the last 6 months, talk, speculation, and especially anticipation for the next big Nintendo console was absolutely rampant. People were going ballistic. They were tired of the current Switch. It's lived out for almost 8 entire years at this point. A lot of games released in the last year or so, while a lot of good titles are a lot of remakes, remasters, more low-key titles, leaks and rumors of this thing would kickstart ever since September, way back 4 months ago. Even with the Switch Pro rumors during COVID, they pretty much bled into Switch 2 leaks and rumors. We got like 3D models of this thing, computer-generated pictures of what it would look like, not the cheap photoshopped blurry screenshots where you can't discern the thing. They were very detailed, very elaborate mock-ups. We got clear screenshots of the physical console, the Joy-Con, the motherboard, its literal skeleton. Here's like a shell, here's the system's casing, its guts. So many news outlets, insiders, people who say they got a hand on the thing, corroborating its specs, when and what's to be revealed, what to expect, how powerful it would be. I'm not kidding when I say the Switch 2 is without a shadow of a doubt the most leaked and most anticipated console from Nintendo. Thousands online were going ridiculously apeshit over it. They were ravenous. Leaks and talks of the thing were everywhere, even amidst the brand spanking new 3D Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom building off Breath of the Wild, and a new 2D Mario in 2023. Only growing crazier come 2024 and even wilder in its second half. People just wanted Switch 2. It was a mosh pit of just nothing but absolute crazy. And I think that is partially playing a part in people's reactions to this reveal. I'm seeing some people express immense disappointment in the thing, the nature of the trailer, the fact it's just another Switch, likely more powerful, but the fact it's very iterative. We only got one game teased, and it on surface level doesn't show a whole lot. It wasn't this grand, confident reveal like the Switch 1 got, etc. And two things here. Number one, I think there is kind of a point to some people saying it's a very lukewarm reveal, especially for a console, even when you factor out all the leaks and the rumors. There is a lot less to chew on or consider when it comes to the console itself. With the Switch, it was something completely fresh and completely mysterious. They teased it a day before, prior to the reveal trailer. It gave people time to prepare and ponder the massive shift from what the Wii U did to what the Switch was doing. You could take this HD console with you wherever you wanted. It teased all these amazing, spectacular games, Breath of the Wild, Skyrim, Splatoon 2, Super Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, etc. And again, just the style and nature of its reveal and how it bled into a lot of commercials and marketing for the Switch throughout its life. It wasn't this weird, shoddy offshoot like the Wii U was. It's a console with a simple yet effective appeal, an effective quirk that birthed an entire market in gaming, portable console gaming. It was something innovative and something a lot of people were interested in, and it was a major upswing for Nintendo after the Wii U. Nobody really knew what to fully expect from Nintendo and their next console in terms of vision, appeal, marketing, software quality, and even just console quality, and how realized all of that would be. With the Switch 2, there's still a lot of mystery and curiosity surrounding the console's power, what it's capable of, and especially the games and other mechanics the system will offer. But a lot of that intrigue and mystery is still significantly less than how it was prior to Switch 1. Even before all the leaks and shit, I can guarantee you, over 95% of Nintendo fans were expecting a Switch 2. Just a more powerful Switch. All Nintendo really needed to do was just make a stronger version of the Switch. They hit a winning formula. They shook up the market all over again with the Switch. Why alienate and risk another misfire similar to the Wii U, releasing another console less iterative, debatable, but quirkier and more peculiar, yet mismarketed and less appealing than the last one? For all of its shortcomings, the performance issues, how it stacks to its competition, how a lot of games look, run, the eShop, Nintendo Switch Online, etc., everyone loved the Nintendo Switch. And tons agree there was a lot of room for Nintendo to just perfect and improve the foundation they set back in 2017. And that's exactly what we're getting right now, and I think it was always a good idea to do so, given all of that. They chose for the more traditional console reveal. They went with the CG formatted white background, purely visual style of the reveal, instead of the one that Switch 1 got, where there's like a lot of people in it, show off what the console could do. They just teased and showed the base form of what the Switch 2 is. All the little details, alongside a direct coming in 3 months revealing more, early play tests in multiple locations before the system drops, backwards compatibility, and a few other things. It's less interesting, 100%. I fully understand why some feel it's one of the most underwhelming console reveals of all time, and I can agree on some level. But they ultimately didn't need to do the same type of reveal as the first Switch, nor did they need to make just a starkly more different type of console at all. I could agree it makes for a less bombastic reveal, but I do believe it wasn't always a necessity, and adding the fact we still have some Switch 1 software in the pipeline Nintendo has to worry about, it was probably the best thing they could have done revealing Switch 2 the way they did, with all the expectations people ultimately did have prior, and what the Switch 1 accomplished. Number 2's obvious, but another big reason is the fact so many people were just drowning in leaks, so much discussion, and a good chunk of them wound up just being completely legit. The timing for when this reveal would come this week, the screenshots, etc., a lot of people just completely dove into all the leaks, and that did have an adverse effect on the proper official unveiling of the console. So a lot of those people are disappointed in the fact the console they saw into verifying was what it was, wound up being confirmed it was what it was. And that's a whole topic on spoilers and leak culture, but you can also imagine Nintendo was probably extremely pissed about it all as well, which is why the reveal trailer felt more traditional and standard than with the Switch 1. That's why it gives off a lot of, bitch, God, here you go, damn, you happy? Are you happy now? Go home, shut up, go home, Jesus. It gives off a lot of that energy. Like, even Nintendo was probably done. They did take their sweet time, given more software time to release and shine. They pretty much had some schedule and roadmap in place for what they wanted to do, where they knew when they would feel ready to show the system. Was it always meant to be revealed today? Were they going to show the system later? For all we know, I couldn't say. But what I will say are two things. Number one, I am really, really happy we finally just have confirmation of Nintendo's next console. It's really nice just having that official confirmation to not go off leaks and unofficial screenshots. I'm just very pleased with just that fact. The relief of finally putting the flood of Switch 2 speculation behind us. I was sick of seeing all the talk and rumors, guys. This guy said this months ago, and this, like, after the skeleton screenshots leaked, I was done. I was full. I was ready. Even just going into 2025, the start of the year, personally speaking, was not ideal for me at all. Car engine, busted, money troubles and all that. But it is all about perspective, and the year did just start. Slowly fixing my sleep schedule, I'm back on the workout grind after being off it for so long. I started a week and a half ago. I've been grinding Smash a little bit more over a month ago. I've been locked into 3 out of 4 pillars of my life currently, but for all the bad happening to me so far, I felt at least slightly comforted by the fact we're getting Switch 2 this year. I'm broke, but at least we're getting Switch 2 this year. That was reassuring to me. So I'm happy just finally seeing a new Nintendo console, and I'm satisfied with the reveal. It's still a good reveal, but I'm also satisfied with just the fact it really is just Switch 2. In my opinion, all I wanted from a new Nintendo console, dead ass, is just a more powerful Switch. Every single other console in the market, deadass, does exactly that. PlayStation 2 to 3 to 4 to 5, Xbox 360 to 1, Series S, X. They're all just stronger iterations of each other and manage their games just fine in terms of performance, what the respective consoles aim to do, specs, game quality for the most part, etc. Nintendo always stood out in being the innovative, quirkier developer with their systems, but the Switch was a huge hit. Hundreds of millions of people love this thing. You got a treasure trove of amazing games on it. It was powerful enough for most of its run. It was marketed really well, and it's still easy to market. You really only needed stronger hardware, and Nintendo understands that. The Switch 2 really does look like it's just taking what the Switch did, but improving on it. For what's basically Switch 1, but better, flashier, you pretty much have to make those upgrades feel flashier and worth a damn, and the reveal does manage to do so, which is ironic given how modern and sleek the Switch 1 felt for a long time, almost 8 years ago. But now the Switch 2 feels more modern and cleaner. The kickstand is bigger, it's a lot longer and more extendable. The console itself is bigger than the Switch 1. The Joy-Cons are a lot bigger, which is fantastic. Adults and people with big hands playing Super Mario Party with the single Joy-Con or Jamboree with the same thing won't have to cramp their hands using single Joy-Con, hopefully. The chances of that, at least, are significantly reduced. The Joy-Con are magnetic instead of designed to slide. They click as you put them in horizontally. Probably with the little circular buttons under the shoulder triggers, you'll be able to attach and detach. It's more convenient and ergonomic. The buttons on the Joy-Con, especially the shoulder buttons on the single Joy-Con, the little SL, SR buttons, when you turn the Joy-Con 90 degrees, those shoulder buttons specifically, they're a lot bigger. The dock's more rounded. The system will seem easier to grab in and out of that dock. There's a charging port on top of the console instead of on the bottom, which is way better. The whole system looks extremely nice. Looks polished and modern, cleaner, more ergonomic. I like how it looks. It looks really good. The look of it's nice, but all the upgrades look great too. The color design on it too, it takes the same design cues that Switch 1 has, with the blue and red Joy-Con, with some black accentuations, and it keeps that design structure, but inverts the colors. The color's accentuated more when you detach the Joy-Cons, the locking part of the Joy-Con and the control stick color. You can always pinpoint the different colors, but in a more subtle way. This does feel like a more modern, upgraded system without steering away from that Nintendo charm the Switch 1 had. It's just different enough. Just new enough to feel like a modern enough evolution, and I think that's great. I'm very looking forward to just feeling the thing in my hand. It's gonna feel way bigger, and it's gonna feel really nice. I'm really looking forward to that. Some also highlighted the way the control stick moves, how purposefully they move them, and you know with the Switch 1, Joy-Con drift is a whole big thing. People are wondering if these Joy-Con won't be as susceptible to drifting. Hopefully, big massive hopefully right there, they won't be susceptible to drifting. There's another button under the home button. The leaks showed it to be a C button. As far as the primary mystery of the system goes, that button's still something Nintendo's trying to hide for now. That's pretty much the main mystery. They're keeping that card close to their chest. The leaks showed it to be like a little C button. It's blank in the trailer. Another thing with the rumors too, some of them said the Joy-Con would have this optical sensor within them, meaning you could basically use each individual Joy-Con like a computer mouse. And then you test the current Joy-Con like it is a mouse, you visualize it. It sounds like some design choice they would have done years ago with the Switch. It's heavily implied though they're doing it now with Switch 2. It's a rumor, but they show the Joy-Con sliding across the surface, literally like a mouse. I'm fairly sure that detail's true. That does sound really cool, just picturing the idea of having mouse support built into the console so cleverly too. Like, it's very interesting how much potential it is, not even just being applied to certain games, but it's likely going to be another control scheme. Imagine Splatoon 4 with mouse settings. Is really funny, especially when that's probably going to be true. But like, you could drag your Joy-Con, you can imagine like they put a cursor on it, you hit the shoulder buttons for clicks, for menus, and whatnot. It sounds like it could be a cool feature. It really could. But outside the mystery, C button, and the reveal suggesting the Joy-Con can act like computer mice, it pretty much is just the raw specs, at least for me. That's the other main mystery. How much stronger specs-wise is this thing? And I know we have a lot of rumors and leaks saying this and that. Most rumors are people saying the Switch 2 is going to be around PS4 level, some saying PS4 Pro level even. I'm hoping it's of course PS4 Pro level, because if it is, that is very satisfactory, and even if it's just base PS4 levels, that's still fine enough, because another thing people forget is Nintendo always has been far behind in terms of graphics, horsepower compared to its competition. Last time Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft were on par with each other in hardware capabilities was in the 6th generation, the original Xbox, the PS2, and the GameCube. Nintendo was a generation behind with the Wii, as the PS3 and 360 jumped to HD, Wii U went to HD, but the PS4 and Xbox One went up another level, and the Switch stayed around the Wii U's level, and the PS5 and Xbox Series S and X went up another level. Nintendo's basically 2 generations behind with the Switch, and yet every single leap to stronger hardware outside of them has been less and less impactful and innovative. So many people say this, and it's true. The jump from PS4 to PS5, graphics and performance, is way smaller and less noticeable than it is going from PS3 to PS4. We're seeing more and more diminishing returns, graphic capabilities and hardware being so close to being perfected that it is disappointing more and more for most people. Meanwhile, Nintendo's pretty much the last major player to benefit from hitting PS4 levels of power. It's really sad when I say that out loud. It's like, guys, let's get hype for literally console power that dropped almost a decade ago. But pretty much, it pretty much makes any leap for Nintendo more hype than their competition. But still, you think about it, giving Nintendo developers, the in-house development teams, Monolith Soft, and other developers that level of power and strength the PS4 or even the Pro have, a Xenoblade game optimized under the PS4 Pro, a 3D Mario, a 3D Zelda, right? Gives me goosebumps. I'm hoping more it's as strong as the Pro, because PS4 Pro is really close to current gen hardware, and a 3D Zelda or a 3D Mario or Smash Brothers on that level of visual flair and performance sounds ridiculously cool. But also Nintendo manages to optimize a lot of there's a lot of games that don't run optimally or look the best on Switch, sure, but there are still a lot of games Nintendo manages to optimize really well, even when they're the weakest in terms of power in the competition. So even if we're talking PS4 tier, that's still fine, at least for me. PS4 Pro though, ideally, would be amazing. And of course, backwards compatibility is fully confirmed, which is nice. Digital and physical Switch 1 games work for Switch 2. On Nintendo's website, they have a banner of a bunch of games alluding to them being backwards compatible. Smash Ultimate, Mario Wonder, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Odyssey, Luigi's Mansion 3, Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, Metroid Prime Remaster, like a lot of games are going to be backwards compatible. And I'm emphasizing that because Nintendo did also state certain Switch games may not be supported on or fully compatible with the Switch 2, so some people are a little afraid seeing that finer print. But looking at the banner Nintendo put up and reflecting more, I'm fairly certain the only major titles to be affected are largely going to boil down to 1-2 Switch and Labo. Because Labo's all that cardboard nonsense. 1-2 Switch is pretty much one of the only games on the Switch to use the IR camera sensor thing, something almost no other game on the Switch uses. And the IR sensor camera, whatever, that doesn't look like it's going to be in Switch 2. I think for over like 99% of Switch 1 titles, I think we're going to be okay. But backwards compatibility is always a great thing to have with any console. The only other thing now is whether Switch 1 games get that buff in either graphics or performance. A lot of rumors and people allegedly getting their hands on Switch 2, saying not all of them, but some games, plenty of them, will get like a performance buff in case they're not around 60 frames. They'll get a visual buff if it's not 1080p. They'll get buffs to loading times because some games don't have optimal loading times, etc. And Breath of the Wild was often used as an example. So I'm hoping we get that for a good number of Switch games, sure, but mainly Thousand Year Door to be honest. Nintendo's gonna host some hands-on events at 3 locations around the world. New York's one of them, so I'm gonna try and see if I can get into that one, high key. And we're getting a Nintendo Direct in 2.5 months, highlighting the Switch 2 on April 2nd. One of my best friend's birthday's the day before, so I know he's hyped getting this Direct pretty much the day after his birthday. 2.5 months seems far for some people, but trust me, it's gonna fly by quick. We don't have a price or a release date yet. We'll likely get those during that Direct, and I'm hoping it'll be around $400. It's not too much more expensive, especially if the upgrade in hardware is huge. If it's not that huge, think $350 is probably the sweet spot. And I'm also hoping it'll release around June at the latest. If not late or mid-May, because Switch 1 dropped 5 months after its initial reveal. Chances are Switch 2 is probably going to drop mid-May at the earliest. But my main thing, I think everybody's main thing, that makes this the most exciting, more exciting the more you think about it, is just the software in general. Because the last thing about all of this is the big thing they lightly teased in the reveal was a brand new Mario Kart. I don't want to go too crazy. You already know. It's a whole other video. But the more the leaks dropped, there was one where there was a Joy-Con wheel attachment that leaked for Switch 2, the same type that the Wii wheel was for Mario Kart Wii, or the one the Switch 1 got for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That pretty much sealed it, that there was going to be a new Mario Kart. But I will say, I've always said Mario Kart early on in the Switch 2's life was very viable. Yeah, Booster Course Pass, DLC, sure, that ended only over a year ago, but that DLC was entirely backported from the Mario Kart mobile game. The mobile game that dropped 2.5 years before the Booster Course Pass, and there was a giant 5-year gap between the Booster Course Pass and when 8 Deluxe dropped on Switch. Nintendo was going to have a new Mario Kart prepped, whether at launch or for the holiday, somewhere within the first year. It's heavily implied it's our launch title. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe sold a bajillion copies, over 60 million copies, is absolutely nothing to scoff at all. Best sold Switch game, Mario Kart game, best sold Mario game of all time, I shit you not. The best option in terms of pushing console sales. Between the fact it's a stronger Switch and it's gonna have Mario Kart at the very start, I am very confident this thing's gonna start its ball rolling. Mario Kart's gonna push sales very hard at the start, likely push even more the further it goes, and it pretty much lays on the other software the system's gonna get. But we get the new Mario Kart. It's been 11 years since a new Mario Kart. We're getting a new Mario Kart. It looks really good. Look, this new Mario Kart. This new Mario Kart, dude. Oh my god. It's been too long. And that is still the big thing. We have a new Nintendo console coming. That just means so much more is in store for Nintendo's other various franchises. 3D Mario, I'm 100% confident, is this holiday. Once that trailer drops, during that direct, it's gonna be monumental for a lot of Nintendo and Mario fans. Smash Brothers, dead ass, is just a matter of time. Nintendo's not gonna drop Smash with how successful it is. It'll be a hot minute, but whenever we get a new 3D Zelda, it'll be massive. A new Splatoon, Xenoblade, Metroid, assuming Prime 4 is not cross-gen, or we won't get a huge visual buff. Kirby, Donkey Kong, because they pretty much ported every other Donkey Kong game on Switch. They have to make a new one. There's gonna be a new one on this system. They have no other choice, especially with backwards compatibility. There's gonna be a new Donkey Kong at some point during the system's life. Fire Emblem, 2D Mario, Luigi's Mansion, Pikmin, Animal Crossing, Paper Mario, Mario and Luigi, I just got injected with that juice. The Nintendo side of YouTube's about to hit a huge uptick in creators and popularity. We're entering a brand new era of Nintendo hardware and software again after so long. The Switch era, great era with so many great games, quality and output. I have faith the Switch 2 will manage the same. But the Nintendo space of YouTube in particular boomed a lot of creators because of the games, the quality, and problems even Nintendo had. The fact Nintendo was more popular than they ever were during the Switch era. You saw a lot of popular creators boom and get big and have big, crazy videos during then. I was also one of them. We're gonna see even more output, passion, and juice from creators after this. So it feels really good to start getting that motivation and fire again after a while. Discussing and analyzing the new Mario Kart game, predicting retro tracks, discussing the next Smash title, predicting characters, predicting the next 3D Mario, Pokemon, Zelda, talking and reviewing not just Switch 2 games, but Switch 1 games still, and third parties, Sonic 3 movie, Shadow Generations, streams and Let's Play still, Bug Fables, Mario and Luigi Brothers Ship, Thousand Year Door, Mario RPG. Switch 2 is about to unlock a lot within some creators. Yes, listing off all of these games and video ideas is stuff I'm aiming and doing too. And I feel the surge more than I have in a hot minute this time around. I could do Mario Odyssey mods, Galaxy 2 mods, Sunshine mods, because we're gonna get a spanking new 3D Mario in the near future. It's bound to happen. Mario Kart content between 8, Wii, and the new ones gonna go omega hard. So much Nintendo content is gonna go hard for the next couple of years. And I intend to go harder than I ever had with my content up until this point. So it's time to really lock the fuck in every pillar of my life harder than I ever had. Wish me luck. Still gotta fix this new SSD, make it the primary SSD over my old one. But also, of course, give me your thoughts on Switch 2 down in the comments. The reveal, the console itself, the new Mario Kart, the potential for a slew of new software. Let me know down below. But it is a fun, exciting era for Nintendo and fans. I'm greatly looking forward to the future that is Switch 2. Thank you for watching, and stay super.
Yo, hey, 妹妹，嘿，我来呀！不不，共和大哈哈呀！拉面，嘿，来面，来个面，共和再见呀！哈哈，拉面，酱手面，谢谢。